Lotarg, our friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for another Orca-Mode workout. And today was Dynamic Effort Lower Day. But a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below. It would be greatly appreciated. So, made a couple changes today. I realized I can only get away with so much straight bar work in a week on my shoulders. Also, I noticed that my shoulders don't like face pulls that much right now. I've been doing band press downs and face pulls every day. I'm going to have to switch those over to band pull aparts. Notice my shoulders click a lot on the face pulls. They're not liking them. And I'm really just doing that to make sure I get tons of work for probably two of the smaller muscles in my upper body that need it, my triceps and my rear delts. And again, just the extra restoration. So I've realized, look, I probably need to use the specialty bars for the speed work. I need to max a lot with the straight bar. Again, that's what we care about, getting my shoulders used to a 1 rep max with the straight bar, right? I was thinking, look, I can use all these other lifts, get it acclimated to it. It's still hard on my shoulders once a certain weekly volume is hit. And again, then I'm having to worry about concentrating on that setup and the discomfort on things like speed work where I need to just be getting in and get explosive and hit it. I also raised my box an inch. I went up to 12 inches. Now notice what the stance I use, and I did a side view so that people can see this. I am super deep, even on an inch higher box. I'm probably going to work with the 12-inch box, and it's because I'm using just outside of shoulder width stance. I'm not going ultra wide. That puts you deeper. When the narrower your stance is, the deeper you are on any given box in terms of parallel. So look, I'm going to work off this 12-inch box. Probably start hitting my maxes off of it, which means we'll hit a lot bigger maxes taking that inch out. And then again, notice, you can tell even from this angle, I am way below parallel. Way below. Inches below. 2 to 3 inches. Okay. So I'm going to max off this box too. So I'm going to start doing that on ME day. But this felt good, nice and speedy. It could have been a hair faster, but then when I look at the math on it, it's no surprise it wasn't quite as fast as I would have liked because I'm running 130 pounds of bands. And yes, there's those bands drop a little bit. One of them does definitely at the bottom. And it's again due to that safety bar. I only have so much adjustment at the bottom. But keeping in mind, it's hitting 130 pounds by the halfway point. So that, and then running 245, yeah, 245. So what that should be with the spacers and everything I set up on there to get those bands out a little wider. So I'm using the bar for spacing a little bit instead of the pegs because I can only get so much out of those. I basically only have 4 holes that I can put the band pegs in. And it's either too tight or a hair too loose with this bar. So I'm just using the spacing to bring it out a bit. But again, when we start doing the math there, it makes sense. This is probably a little bit heavy based on percentages of my max off of this bar. And that's okay. I'm not worried about it. If need be, I can always take some of the band off, which I may do next time. Run a little less aggressive of band tension. See if we can get that speed back up. But I may alternate this and alternate it with the cambered bar for the speed, or I may alternate with chains. And I think on the deadlifts, I may need to do that too. I might need to run waves of chains just to get everything changed up a little bit. But again, relatively happy with this because again, it was comfortable on the shoulder and I need the extra upper back and everything. So fine, let's get in, we'll do this. Keep working the back. Really, my back is my weakest link on most of my lifts, my deadlifting and my squatting. When I say back, I don't mean my lower back. I'm talking about things like middle back, upper back. So one reason I'm trying to push so hard for chin-ups and pull-ups to get really strong on them. One of the reasons I'm trying to do all that rear delt work, that's for more upper back because it does, anything that hits rear delts brings up the upper back. I need all of that thicker. And my lower body doesn't limit squats. Again, my legs are big. Not really an issue for me. Not an issue for me. We're still training them. We're still training them and we're still doing quad work and stuff. But I do feel like generally my back is limiting my squatting. And again, we're getting deep box work. This is one of my primary hypertrophy tools for the quads and everything. A lot of people aren't aware of that. I mean, we look at the size of my quads, you know, and then I get someone who said, oh, you're not doing enough quad work. like on my max effort day, and it's like, oh my God, my quads would grow off the speed work alone. If I did no direct quad work, my quads would still grow. But it's because people don't realize what all hits the quads. They don't realize the Romanian deadlifts, the glute bridges, all that stuff actually do work quads. They're not the best quad builders in the world, but they do train them, and they will hypertrophy off of them. They'll grow. But we're still training all of it. It's not like I'm neglecting them. But my posterior chain does get hit harder on my LME days because of the exercises I pick. It is more posterior chain dominant. And I do focus a little more on quad work on the speed days because, again, all the speed squats combined with the Bulgarian split squats, right? Which I'm pushing progression on those. And that's what people have to remember. If just pushing progression alone on like the Bulgarian split squats will cause quads to grow. Okay, it hits quads super hard. And it's kind of a unique angle because of the way the legs go back and forth. But then we did deadlifts, and I adjusted things. I went to these other bands, and actually this felt better. I'm using the same amount of band tension. I'm just not trying to use the really thick bands because of the way they stretch at the top. And this actually felt smoother. Felt a lot smoother. It felt easier. So either I've gotten stronger or the same amount of band tension in mini bands versus the thicker bands is not producing the same tension at the lockout. I'm hoping it's just I've got stronger and faster. But speed pulls went good today. They went good today. I feel like I'm always slower when I do the left hand underhand grip. It always feels slower to me. It's less secure, but I need to alternate to avoid imbalances. And of course, I have lost tissue in the left bicep. Right, it was physically removed. So it's something I think people forget when they point out, oh, your left arm looks slightly smaller than your right or whatever. Well, what do you want me to do about it? Regrow muscle that was removed by a doctor 17 years ago, missing a chunk. But really my triceps need more work anyways. These particular shirts I'm training in are not flattering to them. Arms look a lot bigger when I wear the shirts that aren't as baggy. Right? But, again, we can tell even from behind the triceps definitely need work right now. My triceps regressed a bit when I was doing all the wider grip benching. So I've got to bring them back up. Even though I'm cutting, I'm going to focus on that. So that's one of the reasons I'm doing band press downs every day. And that is among the stuff I do, along with abs on the off days. I had someone say, you don't do ab work. And I'm like, well, I tell you guys all the time I do it on off days. No, I do ab work every week. I'm a proponent of it. Like I tell you guys you need to train your abs. I don't do it in my main workouts. I've got so much other important stuff to do. I do about 5 to 6 really hard sets for my abs every week. And it's usually hanging leg raises. And I do them straight leg wearing like my hiking boots. In fact, that's usually what I do. A lot of times I'll run down and go shopping or whatever, grocery shopping, and then when I get home I still have my hiking boots and stuff on. I'll go ahead and do my hanging leg raises afterwards. Because then I've got a little bit of extra resistance added. Makes it a little harder. I lose a rep or two. After that, we did good mornings with the safety bar. These were hard today. I really only had 2 sets. My back was just super fatigued from all the speed work. The speed work with bands, particularly on the deadlifts, just hammers my back. And it feels like I don't have anything left. Like every one of these reps felt like I could only do one more. So it's like I did 6 rep sets, but I mean, even the first rep, I'm like, okay, I can do one more. And I went ahead and got to the 6s. We can calculate off my maxes and know this is about a 6 rep max for me, close to. So I just did 2 sets, and then I did 3 sets of all the other supplemental lifts. Because again, there's a lot of volume in the speed work. The speed work is a lot of training volume. And people forget that. You could walk in and do a speed day like I did and do some good mornings and leave. And your lower body is going to grow. Your back and your legs will grow from that. Again, it's a lot more work than people realize who don't do it. Or they're not pushing hard enough, or they're not taking short enough breaks if they think it's easy. But a good mornings today, I felt like I could only really do the 2 sets. All my back can handle. Also, then we did the Bulgarian split squats, and I managed to make it through the first set without losing my balance at all. Didn't happen for the second set, but the first set didn't lose balance. And I'm finding the trick to these is to get that foot really far back on the bench, so not just the edge, so that my ankle and shin are in contact with the bench, and to get it in tight. So the thing is that you can't be splayed out. This is what I'm finding is the key to the balance on this, is to keep your front and your rear leg both as close as you can to like the midline of your body, like directly in front of and behind your spine. So you're actually turning the foot in on the front to get it in the middle and trying to get the foot behind your spine, right? Not in front of one of the glutes. You want it right in the middle. And that's really hard for me to do on the right side, by the way. Right, I just struggle to get that foot into that right place. I struggle with it. So that's why, again, I lose a little bit of balance. And I think you guys will see me do it on this set. Yeah, right there. I feel like I'm losing my balance. I have to reach up and grab the upright. You know, and I've had people say, well, you could do the other way where you hold the uprights. No, I don't want to do all that. I lose my balance a little every now and then and regain it. I feel like I can control the tension more here. I can actually calculate how much tension is being put on each quad relative to my max lifts and stuff a little better. I would rather do that than just go by feel. I need to know that I'm making progress. And I feel like when you hold on to something, we're losing the ability to track tension. And I don't like that idea. And I feel like, again, you could hold on harder or differently to do what? To make it easier or harder, and then it's harder to track, again, your tension. This is not acceptable because the numbers matter. I'm a numbers guy. I don't care about how you feel. I don't care about how you perceive it. I'm a numbers-based guy. I want to know mechanical tension. I want to know how much weight is on the bar, and I want to know how much load we're taking. Not how it feels. How you feel is a lie. But these went good, all things considered. Absolutely, that my quad's up. And we did glute bridges. I felt like I could have on the first set. I felt like I could handle a little more weight on these today, but I stuck with the same weight I've been doing. And you know what I thought was ironic? Someone in my workout the other day, basically, and I just hit the ban button because I can't stand trolls and stupidity. Literally said, "Oh, this is what happens when you just care about the weight you move instead of full range of motion." He just said in general, and I'm like, what do you mean what happens? I have massive lower body, and I have an elite squat and an elite deadlift in my 40s. Yes, that's what happens. I mean, what an ass clown. The guys, the stuff that I see in the comments every day, it's just, there's a point where people wonder why I just drop ban hammers all the time because of stupidity like that. This is what happens. I don't know, you get 30-inch thighs. You get 30-inch thighs and you squat and deadlift 600 pounds. That's what happens. You're right. But he tried to say it as a negative thing. And I get it. People can come in and clown me and say, oh, your arms need to be bigger. Your bench isn't good enough. But you're not going to clown me on lower body stuff. Hey, I am objectively elite on my lower body strength and muscle mass development. Right? It's not an area you can clown me on. You're going to look stupid. But the glute bridges, they felt good. Again, I always struggle with that foot position of getting it where I wanted it first. And I always feel like I wish like I could get my feet in closer. But I can only get them in so close. I wish I could get them in another inch. But all in all, the lift feels good. I feel a ton of glute activation. I feel a ton of lower quad activation. And it doesn't hurt my back. And that's what we're looking for. And then we finish off with reverse hypers with my standard setup. And again, one of the perks of this, again, when my back is feeling really beat up from like the heavy good mornings and everything, this helps. Because again, that traction it puts on the low back, pulls that out, everything's great. As I've said many times, for me, the reverse hyper hits my glutes super hard. Like it builds my glutes up enough to where I can go 6 months at a time without doing glute bridges and things and come in and move weight like that. And then train them. This really seems to do a lot for my glutes. I mean, we think of it as, oh, hey, we do it for our lower back as a restoration tool and a strengthening tool for the low back. And it is great for that. But once you get heavy on it, and for me, heavy is, I would say, as soon as I started passing about 350 pounds for work sets. I started getting glute DOMs from it. And I get a glute pump from this lift. And I'm not saying I don't feel glutes. I feel glutes a lot on those glute bridges. But if I had to pin down an exercise where I really feel the glutes, it's either deep boxes or this, and this probably wins. As far as a pump, I feel a pump in my glutes. Anytime I go over about 350, and when I'm using 500 like this, yeah, absolutely. I feel a good stretch in the hamstrings, a pump in the glutes, and then we get that traction effect in the low back. And it's interesting because every muscle feels different on it. But this is a tool that I recommend. If you do not have access to a reverse hyper, it's worth saving and making space to put one in your home. Okay, if your gym doesn't have one, it's worth it. You're going to pay $400 to $500 for a lower end one, like what I'm using. You're going to have weight plates for it, but it's worth it. It's a game changer. And again, I don't even like machines for the most part. And when I'm saying a machine is a game changer, when I'm saying that, hey, that should tell you something. Because I don't like machines for the most part. I love this one. It's an exception to that rule. And again, I just can't speak highly enough about the reverse hyper. I love it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.